I'm only telling you this because I don't think I have much time left. If you're watching, listening, whatever this ends up becoming, just understand one thing. I didn't know what I was opening. I didn't know the previous owner of this laptop wasn't human. I didn't know a simple double click could make something turn and look directly at me from the screen like it recognized me. I wish I could forget what I saw, but my brain keeps replaying that frozen frame, the shape leaning in, the way its face. No, I can't say that yet. You wouldn't believe me unless you hear everything in order. What matters right now is this. It knows I accessed the file. It reacted. And the moment you hear what it showed me, you'll understand why I can't keep this to myself. You need to hear this before it finds you too. You think I'm exaggerating? I thought so as well. Right up until the thing inside the footage shifted, even though the timestamp said the recording was from 3 days before I bought the laptop. I wasn't even in possession of it back then. Yet there I was, reflected faintly in the background, like I'd always been part of the frame. So pay attention. Don't skim. Don't look away. There's a reason this thing leaves breadcrumbs, and if you miss one, you won't understand how it chooses people. Let me start from the beginning, before everything went wrong. Before the file, before the whisper through the speakers, before I realized the seller never existed. It began the day I bought the laptop. I found the listing late at night. The kind of hour where everything seems like a good idea because your brain's running on fumes and cheap optimism. Lightly used laptop. Works fine. Need gone ASAP. No photo of the seller. No profile history. And the description was so vague it felt like someone trying not to incriminate themselves. Honestly, I should have taken the hint. But a cheap deal is a cheap deal, and I told myself I'd flip it if it ran halfway decent. The laptop itself looked normal enough. Clean, no dents, a little heavier than expected. Missing the charger, though. That was red flag number one. The guy, if guy is even accurate, said he lost it. Who loses a charger? It's literally the one thing you plug in every day. Still, I shrugged it off and told myself it was fine. It's not like I was buying a haunted artifact, just a piece of hardware. He handed it over weirdly fast, like he didn't want to hold it any longer than necessary. No small talk, no bargaining, just a quick take it. The interaction felt off, but I ignored the way his hand flinched when our fingers almost touched. I was too busy congratulating myself for scoring a deal. Walking home with it, I joked in my head, watch it be cursed. Dark humor, the kind you spit out to feel normal. But when I powered it on later and saw the lock screen, that joke stopped being funny. I should have walked away the moment I saw it. And that was when the first anomaly happened. The first night, I didn't even touch the power button. I left the laptop on my desk while I hunted down a compatible charger online. Around 3 a.m., a soft chime jolted me awake. One of those system sounds you only hear when a machine boots up. I walked over, half asleep, and there it was, the screen glowing, login prompt waiting, like it had decided it was done resting. I shrugged it off at first. Glitches happen. Old batteries can ghost boot. I even texted my friend Dan about it the next morning. Due to turn itself on, I typed. He replied instantly. Congrats, you bought a laptop, not a demon. Chill. That would have been comforting if the timestamps hadn't been so wrong. Every file I clicked had a date from years in the future. 2031, 2034, one even tagged 2049. Dan said, probably corrupted metadata. Maybe, but corrupted metadata doesn't duplicate folders while you're staring at them. By the second evening, the webcam light blinked on for a full 3 seconds, just long enough for me to feel the cold prickle on my spine. I covered it with tape, but the light still flickered behind the black square, like something was trying to see through. Still not a demon, Dan said on call, laughing. Probably malware. Yeah, I muttered, though my eyes kept drifting to a strange directory nested deep in the system. It wasn't hidden, just misplaced, like it didn't belong there. I didn't open it. I told myself I wouldn't. But the longer I stared at its name, the more I felt like something inside it was staring back. Eventually, curiosity won. The folder sat there like a dare/not yours/. No icon, no metadata, not even a size reading, as if the system didn't want to acknowledge it existed. When I finally opened it, the first thing that hit me was the disorganized mess inside. Dozens of subfolders named with strings of symbols I couldn't pronounce, each one containing files that shouldn't have been related to each other. Recordings, images, logs, nothing arranged by date or type, just collected. The recordings were the worst. Short clips of empty streets, stairwells, parking garages, places I recognized, places I'd walked through alone. The timestamps matched nights I'd been out late, and the camera angle in each clip was low, close to the ground, like whoever or whatever was filming didn't stand upright. The photos were worse. Blurry, distorted shots of my building, my hallway, my mailbox. One image looked like it had been taken from my bedroom doorway, but the angle was impossible, far too high for any normal person, too still to be handheld. The text logs barely counted as text. Lines of characters arranged like someone was mimicking language without understanding it. But there was a pattern buried in the chaos. Each line started with what looked like a name. Hundreds of them. A roster. A collection. And then I saw mine. A video file, sitting at the very bottom, labeled exactly with my username, despite the fact I hadn't typed it anywhere on the system. My stomach dropped. Whatever this thing was, it hadn't just found me. It had been waiting. I clicked the video. The video opened with darkness, soft, grainy, breathing darkness. For a moment, I thought it was corrupted, until the image brightened just enough to show the outline of my bed. My bed, the blanket pulled up to my chest, my shoulder rising and falling. I leaned closer, my pulse thumping in my ears. No, you whispered. This can't be real. The angle was wrong. Too high, too still. Nothing in my room could have held a camera that steady. My breath fogged faintly on the laptop screen as I watched myself roll onto my side, oblivious, like the person in the footage wasn't me, but some fragile stranger I suddenly felt responsible for. A soft scrape echoed from the speakers. Something shifted behind the camera, slow, deliberate, like weight dragging across the floor. My recorded self didn't stir, but I did. I recoiled from the laptop instinctively. Who filmed this? I said out loud, voice cracking. How? I didn't even own you yet. The figure finally moved into view. Not fully, just a fraction. A silhouette leaning slightly too far forward, joints bending at angles that made my skin crawl. Not tall, but stretched as if pulled by invisible strings. Its head tilted toward the camera, listening, waiting. As the video neared its end, the screen dimmed, colors distorting as though the device itself were straining. Then, layered beneath the static, a voice, wet, fractured, and wrong, gurgled two unmistakable words. Return it. The laptop screen flickered violently, reacting like it understood my fear, and wanted more to. IT started subtly at first, the kind of glitch that makes you think your eyes are tired. But then the laptop screen flickered in patterns that weren't random. Letters forming phrases, taunting, asking questions I hadn't typed. Why are you hiding? It blinked once. Twice. A file appeared on the desktop I hadn't created, named simply Looking. Every time I opened it, new images, photos of empty streets near my apartment, my coffee mug on the counter, angles from inside my bedroom. Things I'd never shared online. I spoke aloud, shaking. This isn't real. None of this can be real. The air felt colder. I dove into the previous owner, searching records, social media, anything. Nothing. No official history. No traces of a person ever existing. Only a single forum thread buried deep in a forgotten corner of the internet, filled with fragmented posts. They come through the device. Keep it too long, and you vanish. I saw myself in the recordings. My pulse spiked. These weren't isolated cases. They were warnings from others who had touched the same cursed laptop. Names, faces, entire stories vanished, leaving only whispers. Then the laptop reacted to me personally. When I moved, the screen mirrored my motion, but with delays, like it was studying, learning, anticipating. Text appeared in real time, taunting, referencing fears I hadn't spoken. You can't hide. Do you remember your last purchase? The air in my room vibrated with a low hum, almost sentient. I realized this wasn't just a device. This was a presence, and it wanted something. I wanted to throw it, smash it, delete it, but the screen flashed a warning that froze me. Return it. Something about that command made the hair on my neck rise. Others had ignored the signs. I couldn't. I had to decide, destroy it, or send it back to whatever force had possessed it. And I knew, deep down, that whichever path I chose, nothing would ever be normal again. I thought smashing it would end everything. The hammer hit the screen, shards scattered across the floor, wires exposed, sparks sizzling. Silence. Relief. But that night, I heard it, a soft, deliberate thud from the hallway. My breath caught. The shattered laptop sat on my desk, whole again, its screen glowing like it had never been touched. I backed away. My phone rang, a notification I hadn't set. A video call. No caller ID. I swiped to answer, and a distorted version of my own face filled the screen, mouthing my name. Footsteps echoed behind me. Not mine, short, uneven, dragging. I spun around. Nothing. Then a whisper, my voice exactly as I'd spoken it that morning, saying, "You shouldn't have done that." I bolted toward the door, but the handle wouldn't turn. Behind me, the laptop's screen pulsed, and shadows stretched across the walls, taking shape. Fragmented glimpses of a figure appeared, impossibly long limbs, angles that defied anatomy, pale skin that reflected the glow of the monitor. Eyes, or maybe voids, focused on me. I shouted, "Leave me alone." The figure moved like it was underwater, jerky and deliberate, following every step I took. My room became a maze of distorted reflections. Mirrors, windows, even my own eyes in the dark seemed to betray me. I realized the horrifying truth. It didn't want the laptop back. It wanted me. Every attempt to discard it had only invited it closer. Every warning I'd ignored, every file I'd opened, had been a thread pulling me toward it. And I knew then, in that suffocating moment, that there was no escaping, not by smashing, not by running. The laptop, and whatever had owned it before, weren't objects. They were predators. And I was the next prey. If you're watching this, I don't have much time left. I've tried everything, destroyed it, ran, researched, but it doesn't care about rules, records, or logic. It doesn't even need the laptop anymore. It just wants me, and maybe you next. I'm uploading this before it replaces me completely. Comment if you've seen anything like this. I need to know I'm not alone. If anyone else has stumbled across a used device with files that shouldn't exist, or recordings of yourself you didn't make, you need to walk away. Don't touch it. Don't open it. And for God's sake, don't think you can outsmart it. This isn't a story. It's a warning. That laptop, the previous owners, the patterns, they're all part of something cyclical. It spreads. It learns. And every click, every curiosity, every moment you think it's just a story brings it closer. I hear it behind me now. I know it's here. The screen flickers mid-word, and I swear I see shadows moving across the frame that shouldn't exist. If you're watching, run. Don't make the mistake I did.